Hey there, wellness entrepreneur. Welcome back. Today, we're talking about engagement versus income, the Instagram metric that actually matters. This can be used on any social media platform, but because my focus is on Instagram and I help a lot of my clients with Instagram, we're focusing there today. This topic comes from two questions I've been recently asked through some consultations I've had recently. And I think they're valid questions and you might be having them yourself. So I thought I would make a whole episode on them. The first question is, if my engagement is on the lower side, which it is, truthfully, what makes my business successful and how can I lead a successful Instagram message makeover clinic? So we're going to answer that question. And then also the question and objection, truthfully, that I've grown to 11,000 followers on Instagram just by being on there a long time since the beginning and growing my audience steadily over time over the years. Now, I did speak to that last question more recently on some past episodes, so you can head back there to give it a listen, but I'll also address some of that again here. So we're going to go over in this episode the vanity metrics traps, time paradox, specific scenarios that apply to you, the business first Instagram approach that will save you a lot of time and heartache and frustration. We'll go over some implementation strategies such as the engagement quality audit, the revenue first content framework, and of course, bio and profile conversion optimization. So when you do have new people coming to your page, you are able to sign more clients and build up your revenue and income consistently without having to really worry about the engagement. I just want to say here that we are not throwing the bathwater out with the baby or whatever that saying is. You do still want to take note of your engagement. I observe my engagement over time. Summer, it's a little bit lower. Some Instagram courses I'm in, also gurus speak to this as well. But you want to look at your engagement as a trend. The last almost 2 years, my engagement as a trend has gone up significantly. It's still on the lower side, but as I spoke to in the earlier episodes, is that my Instagram was dead, completely dead crickets for a number of years. And that should be inspiring to you because if I can turn it around, if you're starting out or you have a dead account, you can 100% turn it around as well. So I'm not saying to never look at your engagement and track it and make sure that it is trending in the direction that you want, hopefully more engagement. What I'm saying is that you don't have to wait till your engagement is an influencer metric number and compare yourself to the engagement of an influencer or someone with a massive account that's not selling anything. You don't have to compare or think that you can be successful in using your Instagram account to sign more clients and grow your revenue if your engagement is low. So I still sign clients when I pretty much had a dead account and while I was growing and revitalizing my engagement. That is the point of this episode because engagement does not equate to revenue. Of course, it does help your revenue, but it is possible to grow your engagement even if you need to revitalize a dead account. That is what specifically we're talking about today. Because I've been in containers with really amazing, talented Instagram creators and practitioners who have account sizes of 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 plus followers, and they haven't hit 10K months yet where I had a smaller audience being in these rooms and my revenue was double, even triple what they were making consistently. And that's how I know engagement isn't everything. There's still a lot of room for improvement. Yes. But again, this should give you a lot of hope if you have a smaller audience and quieter account. You don't have to feel like a failure because all your posts aren't getting hundreds of likes. You don't need to believe that you need massive engagement to make money on Instagram. And you don't need to feel discouraged or think about giving up on Instagram and marketing all together. And people who've been on Instagram for years with decent followings, but zero revenue, that's a lot of time, right? Or you're having high engagement from the wrong audience. And this is what happened with me is that when I first started Instagram, I didn't have a business. I was an employee and my husband and I were taking artistic yoga shots and I was getting engagement from really great people on Instagram. But when I pivoted to having my own business, They were the wrong audience. They were not the people that needed my services or wanted my services. So you want to make sure that if you are growing your engagement, you are growing your followers, they're actually wellness clients that want to purchase from you and need your services. And another area that can really suck your time and give a lot of frustration is if you have lots of activity on your Instagram account, but no actual business growth. So your email list isn't growing and your revenue is not growing, and you don't see clients coming in from Instagram at all. With my business first Instagram approach, it's quality of your content over quantity in followers and engagement. And we'll dial in what that specifically means. It's also strategic content that attracts buyers, not just browsers, or again, the wrong audience that is just entertained by your content. You want to make sure this is the number one thing I always work with my clients when they first come in is that their profile is optimized. So if they do have a reel or a carousel or a piece of content that really pops off, that they are optimized to get new followers and even get consultations right off that one post. Has happened to a few of my clients whose posts have gone viral. They'll be working with clients or traveling and doing other work in their business or just sleeping, and a piece of content will pop up. And because their bio is optimized, they're able to take advantage of that and get some new consultations coming in. You also want to make sure that your messaging speaks directly to those potential wellness clients that are ready to invest. This approach works because I've built two six-figure plus businesses with smaller, more targeted audience. One was brick and mortar and one was online. So it can work for both scenarios, especially when you know what conversion metrics to focus on and not the vanity metrics. Or you're using the vanity metrics to look at your overall trend to make sure that your account is growing the way that you would hope. So you're not using the vanity metrics against yourself, you're using them to inform your content. And through all of this, then you have a proven system that prioritizes revenue over recognition or just massive numbers. So when you focus on the quote unquote right metrics, then you do have the potential for more consistent consultation, book straight from Instagram while you sleep or while you're working with other clients, which is huge, right? Because that can really keep your overhead low where you need less administrative staff to help book consultation calls if people are coming to you instead. You have higher conversion rates on those consultation calls because people come prepared, knowing about your program, even pricing. When the whole funnel is set up strategically, they know about your values and philosophies and why they need to work with you specifically. So even if they can't get in for several weeks or even a month or more, they're willing to wait because they want to work with you. They're not going to price shop around as much because, again, they know that they need your work specifically. All of this is so huge to creating consistent revenue. With that, when you get better at your content, you spend less time creating content and it's more impactful. So you're able to spend more time serving the clients that you now have because you have more clients. And all of this leads to sustainable business growth without having to be a full-time content creator being on Instagram 24/7. This leaves you with peace of mind knowing that your Instagram actually works for you and your business and your audience, because then you can really craft your Instagram system and content creation plan dependent upon the business that you want to create. For example, I have a client named Rachel. She has a brick and mortar business and an online business, but she is heavy in her marketing and more with her local community. And we really use that to grow her brick and mortar business, which helps to feed her online business. She's hit 18K months, 5-figure months consistently. And phase two for her is now carving out the time to market more consistently on Instagram specifically. And she did all that with an audience size of under 2,000. But now she wants to grow a bigger audience, which will give her more freedom and flexibility with filling more online programs and getting her out of back-to-back sessions in a brick and mortar, which ties her down to only having to work when she's in her local community. So that is one example of potential that's available to you. You can really say, oh, I really want to market 80% of my time in the local community, but I do want to be relevant on Instagram. You can do that. And you can flip flop that as well and say you want to grow an online audience. And this is where there's so much potential because there's so much power and opportunities and freedom having a massive audience of 50,000 plus more people. And personally, transparently, that's why I keep really working on my Instagram and testing my reels and watching my engagement and trying to grow. I really would like to grow a bigger audience on Instagram. I just think it really will benefit both my community and my business. And I've had other clients with newer audience, smaller audiences, 3 to 500 followers, sometimes even just a couple hundred followers, fill their first retreats while they were learning just even how to make their first Instagram reels or carousels, or brand new to business, sign their first consultations off Instagram with an audience size of 500 or less and limited engagement. So I tell you this, you stay inspired to keep showing up consistently on social media, whatever consistency means to you, whether it's staying relevant, like my client Rachel was, which is about once every week or so, or really intentionally spending more time there, posting closer to every day or 3 to 5 times a week to really focus on maximizing your reach and your audience size. Notice with none of that, did I say my clients had hundreds of likes or even tens of 20s of comments? No, their content gets lower views, has very limited engagement, and they were still able to sign these consultations and fill retreats and workshops with the smaller audiences and lower engagement. When you have a strategy to back it up, when you have the funnels behind the scenes, behind your Instagram account to back it up. So let's talk about some of these implementation strategies that you can take away today. Number one, you want to do an engagement quality audit on your own account. You can use this by going to the insights on any reel or carousel. You can also look at your overall engagement in the Instagram Edits app. If you just search Edits, it's an app new from Meta itself, where there is a few more insights such as skip rate that's not available through the Instagram app itself. It is a separate app, but worth getting, especially if you're newer to Instagram. You might want to start editing there first and learning that because there are a few more editing features that are not available in the Instagram app itself. And again, it has a little bit more insights you can look. So you do want to look at what your average engagement rate is per post and overall. You can also use ChatGPT by dropping your Instagram handle in there or the link, grab it from the browser or from your profile page and drop it in there and ask ChatGPT to analyze your account and give you your engagement rate. So the bigger the audience, engagement rates closer to 5% is really great overall. Often accounts with millions of followers, their engagement rates tend to be about 1% or sometimes a little bit lower. And that's because they have massive audiences. So if you could get your engagement rate above 1%, 2 or 3%, nearing 5%, that's amazing. And you should really pat yourself on the back. So you can look at your overall engagement rate, and you can also look at your engagement rate per piece of content. I strive for 5% for overall engagement rate per piece of content. That is the combination, if you add it up in the Edits app, of likes, comments, shares, and saves. So pretty much anyone tapping in some sort of way on a piece of content. If your engagement is trending in that direction, then you know that your content is landing. Now, if you have a high engagement rate, 3 to 5% overall and on most pieces of content, but you're not getting consultations and you're not signing clients, then you know that your engagement could be from the wrong people. They're not the people that would buy for you. There's a messaging mismatch from your content that you're putting out in the world and the audience that you want to attract that need your services. So you need to look at what you're saying and who it's really attracting, and then slowly refine the messaging so it starts attracting the people that you actually want and need your services. And during that time, there might be an engagement dip, there might be unfollows, things like that. But it's for the overall benefit of growing your business, signing more clients and growing your revenue over time. Because probably that's the whole reason why you have an account. You can take a look at as well is if your engagement is on the lower side. Often, again, that comes down to messaging and the type of a content. It's just not landing with your audience in a way that has them say, oh, I need to share this with my friend. I resonate with this, or I need to share this with my husband so he helps me to save so I can work with this person. Or I need to save this from later. That was a great perspective on my health I hadn't considered. Or I love this. It really spoke to me. I feel seen and heard, and they're liking or they're leaving comments. If you're not getting that kind of engagement, often I find with clients when they first come to me, it's a specificity of message issue. Often, wellness entrepreneurs were just either taught to sell and promote our services in workshops and retreats. And so there's a lot of promotional material on an account. And it's just, if you look at an account, it's workshop flyer, happy 4th of July, workshop flyer. So it isn't very engaging to the audience. Or it's really great educational content, but the messaging is too general. Like, if you need to feel better in your body, if you want to improve your wellness or drink water, it's these generic type content that, again, isn't really grabbing and hooking the audience, that has them watching the content all the way through or compels them, stirs their heartstrings or motivates or inspires them or wows them or shocks them in a way that they're like, oh my gosh, that's me. I feel called out. Or my friend struggles with this exact thing. I need to send it to her. So often you can determine some of this by analyzing and taking a look at your audit yourself. And then you want to, after saying, okay, where's my engagement? How does that relate to the clients I'm signing off of Instagram? Then you can go into strategy two, which is the revenue first content framework, where you're really understanding the difference between when to post more growth style content. And yes, because you do need conversion, you do need those workshop promotional posts, you do need those. Hey, here's a specific health struggle. I help my clients with this very thing, promoting your one to one service content, conversion type contents. You do need those, but you'll get a sense and find a rhythm of posting growth and educational or entertaining type content or connection type content when you're going to post conversion type content. You'll find a rhythm between the two to create conversion off Instagram consistently while growing your audience as well. There's no perfect ratio for this. It can really depend on your purpose for the month or the quarter. So, for example, if I go through a launch, it's going to be more conversion type content and the engagement is going to be even lower. And it's knowing that, okay, when I come off a launch and I have posted a lot of conversion type content, then my engagement for the next week or sometimes two might be lower again. And I'm going to focus on more growth type content to bring the engagement back and build my new followers to prepare for the next launch. So I go through phases of focusing more on growth and then focusing more on conversion, depending upon what's happening in my business. Then strategy three, and you've heard me talk about this before on the podcast, is making sure that your bio and your profile is optimized for conversion. So making sure your bio speaks to what you do and the audience that you do want to attract because they do need your services. Making sure your link tree isn't overwhelming with 10 plus links and they are optimized for conversion, whether that's to opt into your email list and download a new freebie or book their consultation call. Some of my clients, depending on their services, actually have a link to book and pay for a service direct right off Instagram as well. And that you have highlight bubbles that support that journey, whether it's describing your staff, if you have staff, or a highlight bubble highlighting client wins, not just testimonials, but actually the before and the after story. Things like that, pinned posts, utilizing the pinned post, making sure your name is in bold is actually SEO optimized. for people searching for your services and your town. So making sure that things like that are really optimized, and that helps with gaining new followers and converting them off Instagram right when they follow you. In fact, that just happened last night. I had a new follower and they've already opted in to some of my free opt-ins. And actually over the weekend, I had someone that just started following me and book a consultation call. So it can happen really quickly, even if your engagement seems on the lower side, like mine is right now. Because here's the truth, you don't need high engagement to take seriously. You just need to reframe this for yourself. It's quality engagement for the right people that matters more. Because as I said before, I've been steadily improving my engagement, and I have some great conversations in the DMs, some great conversations in comments left on my posts, and I reply to them back. I go and comment on other people's posts, and that does help with my engagement too. All of this helps to having that audience that will help to grow your engagement over time. That's part of the reason why, too, I haven't just started a new account. I wanted to show you that you can have a successful six-figure plus business without perfect engagement, without high amount of likes, without ever having gone viral, with having a dead account and turning it around. So my business results speak louder than just the content and the engagement on my account. You need to focus on a strategy that works, not a strategy that just looks impressive. And it's remembering that I haven't grown my followers just because I've been on Instagram for years. You can look at the number of posts I have. I have over 3,000 posts, and that means that a good percentage of my posts have fallen flat. And I have been learning and refining over time because I don't have a history in marketing. I had several years where I took off, and when I came back, rebranded, that my account was really quiet. So, time on the platform does not equal your business strategy. It's having followers versus having a system to convert them. You want to make sure when you do get those followers, or if a piece of content does gain more traction, that you have the system behind it, the funnel that's going to support their journey to taking that next step to needing and wanting your services and then booking and signing with you. Those are the missing pieces in most people's Instagram approach. So think about it. If you had a higher ticket in person or online, a $2,000 wellness program, what could it mean to you to just book two more clients off Instagram at 2K? That's an extra $4,000 in your account. And you don't have to spend hours doing that. That's huge. That should be really inspiring and motivating to you. It is to me. And that's why I keep showing up there. So if you're tired of Instagram feeling like a vanity project or self-promotion instead of a business tool, I have a workshop coming up for you. It's going to be live. It's $7. I'm going to go over the steps on how to 2 times your audience, grow your engagement. The best part is, while you grow your audience, while you grow that engagement, you'll also know the strategies on how to sign clients and start making revenue now, even with a small audience, even with a dead account. So make sure you get signed up for that workshop. It's coming up in September. Actually, you can save the date on your calendar. It's September 9th, and you can use the link in the show notes to get registered right now to save your spot. You definitely want to show up live to this because doors are opening to the fall group cohort for the Instagram Message Makeover Clinic. If you show up to the workshop, and especially if you show up live, you will get access to special bonuses for that clinic that you won't see anywhere else. So you have to be signed up for the workshop and join up live to get access to those special bonuses. So do that now. Life doesn't take over when you stop the podcast and your kids aren't calling you, or you're off to your next client session and then you forget to get signed up and missed out. I know it's totally possible for you to grow an audience and have that support from your audience where you do get DMs saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you posted this. I really needed to hear this today," or "Thank you so much. That piece of content meant so much," or excitement of someone messaging and saying, "Hey, I just booked a consult call. I can't wait to talk to you." Those are real life messages that I get weekly for sure, sometimes daily, depending on how I'm doing in my content rhythm. And my clients do too. And it's possible for you as well. So there you have it. Go get registered for the workshop, and I'll see you there or in the Instagram clinic. All right. Bye for now.